Good morning, peoples of the internet. Tommy Jordan here. I'm coming to you today to clarify some issues surrounding Executive Order 180 and those like it here in North Carolina. Please keep in mind this video relates to North Carolina. Parts of it may or may not relate to your state depending on what your current rules are and how your state constitution is set up. But one of the biggest questions that I keep seeing, and this is the first of a two-part series that I'll do. I'll link each video to the other there on YouTube if you want to follow up, because it's kind of a larger conversation, but I want to keep this brief. A lot of people are saying, I don't understand how these new laws work. Can we get a ticket? And if we get a ticket, what law are we breaking? So here's the breakdown. We're going to do this Barney style. All right. North Carolina laws are called statutes. They're in a big fat book called the North Carolina General Statutes, and there's thousands of them. What the governor is doing is very similar to what the president does on a national level. They're executive orders. Instead of the legislative body getting together and arguing back and forth, and I want this in the law and I want that in the law, and then they come to an agreement, then it gets ratified and becomes a law. An executive order is one man, in this case, Governor Cooper, wrote the rule and said, publish this, and voila, and it's a law. No, it is not technically a law. Some people love to argue that. However, the effects for breaking an executive order are the exact same as for breaking a law or a statute. So, with regards to how we treat them, are they laws? Sure, you might as well say yes. The answer is technically no, but the effect is yes. So, that's the first thing. The second part of that is, well, the governor doesn't make laws. He can't do that. He can't tell police what to do. Actually, yes, he can. North Carolina's governor is pretty powerless most of the time. In a normal year, a normal environment, our governor does not have that much authority. However, when North Carolina modified the NC Emergency Management Act, we gave the governor additional powers. That act is the one that was designed to allow the governor, for example, let's say we have a hurricane and our state legislature is not even in session. There's a hurricane coming. Pitt County got flooded. We need to do this. We need to do that. He'd have to get the legislature together, drive everybody back to Raleigh, get them to sit down, talk about it, figure it out, argue it out, hash it out, come to an agreement, write it up, and then go do it. That can take days. It can take weeks. The Emergency Management Act gave him additional powers. So in the case of that kind of emergency, because that's what we had on our brain at the time, he can act unilaterally. As long as we are in a state of emergency, he gets these additional powers. And the idea behind those was, for example, he can pick up the phone and say, I need you to mobilize the Red Cross. I need it here, here, and here. I need FEMA to do this. I need you sheriff's departments to send all your spare officers here. He has the authority to direct the state's resources during a state of emergency. No one in their wildest dreams imagined a global pandemic that would ever grant the governor power to lock down our state. That was not something that had ever been tried, not something that we ever thought was going to happen. However, it did. And until the Emergency Management Act is amended to restrict those powers, he can do basically what he wants. I don't like it. And there are those of you that want to argue it. You can argue it all day long. You're still wrong. The law and the statutes and the effect for violating them still back him up 100%. I don't like it. Believe me, I very much detest it. But it is the truth. So when Governor Cooper created Executive Order 180 and says you got to stay home, you can't do this, you can't have people in your home that aren't of your household that have a mask, or that don't have a mask, or you have to wear a mask in public, that's prompted a lot of people to say, what is the penalty for breaking this law? Because I can't find this law in the books anywhere. Again, not a law, it's an executive order. And the executive order, just like a law or a statute, laid out what the penalty is. If you violate it, it is a Class 2 misdemeanor. In North Carolina, that is the second lowest class of misdemeanor. It's a little bit above a parking ticket. However, so what's the penalty? Do I get a slap on the wrist? Do I have to go to jail? Do I have to wear a cone of shame? What is my penalty? It's a Class 2 misdemeanor. The penalty is anything within the range of what a Class 2 misdemeanor allows. And I'll treat it like kids, for example. If your kids get in trouble and they do something, they're grounded. Well, what does grounded mean? Depends on the judge, i.e. the parent. Maybe you don't get any Xbox. Maybe you're stuck in your room for the weekend. There are levels of grounded. There are levels of how the judge feels like he wants to apply a Class 2 misdemeanor punishment. It can be $0 to $1,000 in fines. It can be 0 to 60 days in jail, or 1 to 60 days in jail. It can be, he can choose to fine you $500 and make you serve 30 days community service. You know, he has a range to pick from. So the penalty for breaking Executive Order 180 is anything in the realm of a Class 2 misdemeanor punishment that the judge or court sees fit to give you. Okay, I hope that explains it. Executive orders are not laws. No, they are not. But the effect for breaking them is the same. And in fact, that's in the definition of an executive order. The effect for violating one is pretty much just breaking the law. The punishment or penalty or whatever the repercussions for that particular executive order are normally laid out in the executive order. In this case, violating it is a Class 2 misdemeanor. So your punishments, the judge gets to pick between that group of punishments anything he or she chooses to levy. So I hope that clarifies it. I have another video coming up next about police and law enforcement during this pandemic, and especially during this particular set of executive orders, but I don't want to do it here. Check my YouTube channel. It's going to be the video right after this one. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Stay safe. I don't like these orders either. I'm not even adhering to a lot of them, but I want you to be clear and have your eyes open if you choose to violate them so you know what you're getting into. I'm not encouraging you to do anything either way. How you choose to live is totally your responsibility, and it is your right to act that way and to suffer the consequences just like it's mine. That's it. Have a good day, y'all. Check out the next video. It's coming soon.